Most people think pressure reveals who you are. Wrong. Pressure reveals how you trained. Average people panic, rush, overthink, freeze. Chess players sit there, stare at chaos, and still find the right move. Same brain, same human hardware. Different system. You think they're just smarter. Wrong. Magnus Carlsen isn't calm because he was born on another planet. Judith Polgar didn't outthink grandmasters because she had magic DNA. They trained one brutal advantage your average distracted brain never developed. Actually, 3 advantages. And here's the part that should annoy you. These same methods work outside chess. Exams, interviews, sales calls, business decisions, technical work. Any situation where one bad move costs you. I'm about to show you exactly how they think, and by the end of this, you'll never handle pressure the same way again. Chapter 1. They don't think faster. They see faster. This is the first illusion that destroys average people. You think elite performers calculate everything from scratch. Wrong. Beginners look at a chessboard and see 32 pieces. Grandmasters look at the same board and see patterns, traps, structures, tactical themes, weak squares, forced sequences. They don't analyze more, they recognize more. Psychologist Adrian de Groot studied this decades ago. Then William Chase and Herbert Simon pushed it further. Chessmasters weren't superior because of raw IQ. They were better because they stored massive chunks of patterns in memory. Chunking, same idea top surgeons use. Same idea expert coders use. Same idea every elite performer uses when amateurs are still drowning in details. A beginner sees random information. A master sees compressed meaning. That's your first problem. Your brain treats every stressful situation like it's brand new. Boss asks you a hard question in a meeting, and your mind blanks. Why? Because you're trying to solve it live, from zero, like an idiot. Chess players don't do that. They build libraries, a fork, a pin, an overloaded defender, a weak back rank. They've seen these patterns so many times that recognition becomes automatic. Daniel Kahneman talks about this in terms of fast and slow thinking. Fast thinking is dangerous when it's built on garbage, but when it's built on trained patterns, it becomes deadly accurate. That's what you want. Not more effort. Better compression. Let me make this practical. Say you're learning copywriting. Average person reads 50 tips and remembers nothing. Smart person studies 20 great ads and identifies the recurring patterns. Curiosity headline, specific promise, authority reference, objection removal, urgency. Now the next time they write, they aren't inventing. They're recognizing. Same with interviews. Same with coding bugs. Same with public speaking. Stop treating every problem like a fresh emergency. Build pattern libraries. Here's the rule. Don't just practice. Categorize. Every mistake you make goes into a bucket. Every success goes into a bucket. You're not trying to survive pressure. You're trying to make pressure familiar. But here's the problem, though. Pattern recognition is useless if you collapse emotionally the second things go wrong. That's where the second advantage comes in. Chapter 2. They train losing. Average people hate mistakes. Schools taught you that. Get it right. Avoid failure. Protect your ego. Useless advice. Chess players know something better. The fastest way to stop panicking is to get familiar with bad positions. That sounds backwards. It isn't. In chess training, strong players don't only replay brilliant wins. They study blunders, lost positions, collapses, time-trouble disasters. Why? Because panic comes from unfamiliar pain. The more you rehearse failure, the less power it has over you. This is straight out of psychology. Exposure reduces emotional volatility. Robert Bjork's work on desirable difficulty points in the same direction. If trading is too easy, you feel smart and learn nothing. If training is stressful in the right dose, your brain adapts. Grandmasters do puzzle rush under time pressure. They play worse positions against stronger opponents. They review the move that threw away the game, not the 25 moves that felt good. They don't protect their self-image. They attack their blind spots. You do the opposite. You reread notes you already understand. You repeat tasks you're already decent at. You live inside fake competence. Then real pressure shows up and crushes you. The best chess players practice the moment after the mistake. That's where character lives. You blunder a rook. Fine. Can you stay objective? Can you still find the best move? Can you stop the emotional spiral? That's the skill. And this applies to everything. Missed a question on a practice exam. Don't just mark it and move on. Ask why your brain chose the wrong answer. Bad sales call? Don't just say, I need confidence. Useless. Find the exact hesitation point. Weak, close. Weak, objection handling. Weak, tone. Isolate it. Deliberate practice. Anders Ericsson built a career explaining this. Experts don't just do the thing more. They break the thing into painful, correctable parts. Then they drill the weakness until it stops being weak. The chess player in time trouble doesn't magically become calm. They've been there before, hundreds of times. They've trained the disaster. That's why average people fall apart in public. Their first stressful rep happens in the real event. Of course you panic. Your brain thinks it's danger because you never rehearsed it. Chess players rehearse danger on purpose. Hit subscribe before you forget. Most people spend years trying to become more confident. Wrong target. Train more exposure. Confidence is what your brain calls familiarity. But even that isn't enough. Because pressure doesn't just make you emotional. It makes you stupid. Chapter 3. They reduce decisions before the game starts. This is where elite thinking starts to feel unfair. You think performance happens in the moment. Wrong. High performers win before the moment arrives. Chess players have opening preparation, time management rules, endgame principles, checklists. They don't rely on inspiration. They build constraints. Why? Because working memory is weak. George Miller made that painfully clear with the magical number 7 idea. Your conscious mind can only hold so much. Under stress, that capacity gets even worse. Suddenly, you can't think. Not because you're incapable, because you overloaded the system. Strong chess players know this. So they use heuristics, checks, captures, threats. Candidate moves first. Improve the worst piece. If ahead, simplify. If cramped, trade. Look at that. Fewer decisions. More clarity. Average people walk into hard moments with zero rules. They just hope their brain performs. Idiot strategy. Pilots use checklists. Surgeons use checklists. Atul Gawande wrote an entire book on this for a reason. When complexity rises, memory fails, systems win. Your life needs more pre-decisions. If you study, decide before the session starts what counts as a good session. 20 active recall questions. 1 past paper section. 3 flashcard reviews. Done. Don't negotiate mid-session. If you work out, decide the program before you enter the gym. If you create content, define the hook formula before staring at the blank page. If you're entering a hard conversation, prepare 3 points. 1 question, 1 boundary. Pressure hates prepared structure. Chess players don't ask, what should I do? Every move. They ask, which of my known principles applies here? That one shift changes everything. Less panic, less noise, better decisions. And then there's time. This is where most of you sabotage yourselves for free. In chess, time trouble doesn't happen, only because the position is hard. It happens because the player wasted time earlier on low-value decisions. Same in life. You burn 45 minutes deciding trivial nonsense, then rush the important thing and call it bad luck. Wrong. Ad allocation. Elite players know when to spend time and when to move. Obvious recapture. Instantly. Critical tactical sequence. Slow down. Equal position with no threats. Keep rhythm. They protect mental energy like it matters because it does. Roy Baumeister's work on decision fatigue made this obvious years ago. The more useless decisions you make, the worse your later decisions become. So stop spending premium cognition on garbage. But here's the problem, though. You can recognize patterns, train failure, and reduce decisions. Still not enough. Because when pressure spikes, Your body hijacks your brain. Chapter 4. They control physiology before psychology. Most people try to think their way out of panic. Wrong. Your body got there first. Heart rate climbs. Breathing gets shallow. Vision narrows. Thoughts speed up. Welcome to bad decision mode. Chess is quiet, but don't confuse quiet with calm. In high-stakes games, heart rates spike hard. Cortisol rises. The body treats evaluation as threat. That's why elite players use routines. Same as elite shooters. Same as elite athletes. Same as anyone who performs under consequences. 1 breath. Sit back. Scan the whole board. Identify threats. Only then calculate. That pause is not weakness. It's a weapon. There's solid performance psychology behind this. When arousal goes too high, fine cognition suffers. The Yerkes-Dodson law isn't complicated. Too little activation, you're sleepy. Too much, you're chaotic. The sweet spot is controlled intensity. Chess players build reset rituals to get back there. After your opponent makes a move, don't react instantly. First ask, what changed? What is their threat? What got weaker? What improved? This interrupts emotional autopilot. You need the same thing. Got a rude email? Don't reply. Reset. What actually changed? What is the real problem? Failed a mock exam? Reset. Was it knowledge, timing, or panic? Hard conversation with your partner or boss? Reset. What outcome matters here? What emotion is noise? Your life gets better the moment you stop obeying the first feeling. Grandmasters don't trust first impulses just because they feel urgent. They verify. That one habit alone would save most people from half their stupid decisions. By the way, I put the whole system into one simple framework in this video. Pattern library. Failure review. Pre-decision rules. Reset ritual. 4 parts. Print it. Use it. Because knowledge without repetition is just entertainment. Now let's make this painfully clear. Most people think pressure is the enemy. Wrong. Pressure is the test that reveals whether your process is fake. Chess players look calm because they trained recognition. They trained losing. They trained structure. They trained reset. You call it talent because admitting that would hurt your feelings less. But here's the thing though. Even if you learn to stay calm under pressure, there's still one problem. Calm doesn't matter if you're solving the wrong problem in the first place. A bad move played confidently is still a bad move. That's why smart people still stay stuck. They think clearly, but they focus on garbage. That's why I made this next video breaking down how to find the crucial 20% in any skill. So you stop wasting effort on useless moves and start progressing almost unfairly fast.